Welcome to Toni Unleashed, the podcast where we unleash the truth about all things pets.
Our research and anecdotal evidence matched with pet expert interviews will help you help your pet thrive.
We are here to answer questions, divulge information, and spread awareness about what's really going on in the world of pets.
I am your co-host, Emily Taylor, pet nutrition enthusiast.
And I'm Toni Shalaski, owner of Healthy Pet Products with 3 locations in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, and recently expanded to Port Charlotte, Florida.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Toni Unleashed, the podcast. Today we're going to talk about enrichment for dogs and cats and the importance of keeping your dog and cat mentally stimulated. We will have a follow-up episode with our resident cat expert, Lindsay, to talk about the significance of enrichment for cats. But almost everything we're going to say today can cross over, but our cat episode with Lindsay is going to go into much greater detail. So enrichment can be anywhere from a simple exercise, task, or toy to a complicated activity or training schedule. In this episode, we will talk about how to use household objects to keep your pup's mind busy, as well as different things you can buy to add some simple activities to your pet's life. This episode might save your dog's and your life, but more like your sanity. It can save your sanity. And we truly are going to give you tips on how to use household items, and you don't always have to buy something.
Right.
And I feel like this episode is also an anxiety episode.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And also a way to maybe identify if your dog's behavior is anxiety or allergies even. Because even though it sounds dramatic that this episode could save your dog's life, but truly so many behavior problems that dogs have is due to boredom and them being too smart. And dog/owner relationships can have so much tension between them because the dog is not getting enough mental stimulation or is not being engaged enough and is presenting behavioral outbursts because that energy is not being appropriately directed.
I mean, we talk about anxiety with customers all the time. I mean, literally every single day, multiple times a day.
Yeah. And if you as a human have anxiety and are a high stress person and are anxious and are nervous, most likely your dog is going to pick up on that. And
they pick up on
those.
Energy, and that's energy. And you already touched on this, but our dogs would naturally be hunting. Cats would naturally be hunting, constantly on the move, going miles and miles and miles and following their noses and seeking out food and water and shelter. And, they're living in our homes now, and that is not a natural environment to them.
So you might see behaviors like whining, pacing, barking, licking, panting, avoidance, confidence issues, insecurities, jumping, scratching, destruction is huge, and more that might be avoided or improved with some activities at home. I notice a lot of these very specifically in my dog, Kendrick, who is a 14-pound mutt, who is super whiny and impatient when he's not appropriately stimulated and is very nervous, very insecure, and is a higher, he's not super high energy, but he is high energy in comparison to my other dog, Sweet Pete, who is not a high energy dog. And I've noticed adding some activities and stimulation has not only boosted his confidence and helped with some of that nervous, fearful reactions and that whininess, but it also helps me identify what he needs. So when he is a little needy or he's, walking around all over the place or he's looking for something to do, I know that it's time that he hasn't had enough stimulation that day and I need to step up and do something for him to tire him out, essentially. You have working dogs. I don't, but you do. And that's a constant battle with working dogs like healers, German Shepherds, pointers, labs, sport bred golden retrievers, dachshunds, corgis.
There's so many in the working
Poodles.
breed and the herding breed.
Australian shepherds.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so many. And I think the problem is there are so many very cute working breed dogs that actually are not worked.
You're right.
Mic drop.
You're right. Do I have to talk about my dogs?
I mean, I think you should say something like,
well,
that
I don't do enough.
No.
I don't.
No, I mean, who actually does enough? But that mental stimulation tires the dog out in less time than physical exercise.
It does. And mental stimulation, I think the average person doesn't equate mental stimulation to chewing a bone.
Right.
To even working on a licky mat, even the Planet Dog Snoop and trying to get the treats out of a Planet Dog Snoop, which is an interactive toy that we carry.
Right.
So that's mental stimulation.
I mean, we're even talking, so we need, okay. So it can be mental stimulation can be as simple as taking a handful of kibble and throwing it in your grass yard.
Yeah.
And feeding that way.
Yeah.
Your dog has to use its nose,
Yep.
which means using its mind to find each individual piece of kibble in the yard. And that is going to take twice, 3, 4, 5 times as long to feed your dog, which is also going to be draining them mentally and giving them an activity and an exercise than putting it in a bowl in one place for them to eat.
Oh, that's such a great idea.
Yeah.
Why don't I do that?
I don't know. You have a great yard.
So part of my yard off the deck is fenced in.
Yeah.
So I could do that because I don't feed kibble.
But Ziwi Peak, Carnivore.
I could do that with Ziwi Peak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. That's
great.
Such a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, I do it. So I use that technique in the house because I have a senior dog who cannot go on long walks. And I have and her name is Sweet Pea. And I have a small dog named Kendrick or Kenny, who is a higher energy dog who needs to be walked. So I will take Kenny on a walk and I will take a handful of Ziwi Peak or treats when I go for a walk with Kenny, and I will throw them in the living room or under the dining room table or on the stairs or upstairs so that Sweet Pea is getting some sort of activity out of it. And I'm not just, closing the door behind her when she wants to go for a walk, but it is more suitable for a dog that can't go on a long walk. And she gets treats and she gets mental stimulation. And so it's easily done in the house, in the yard, in a playpen, whatever. I mean, I don't know, whatever you want to do.
That's a great idea.
But it's just it can be just as simple as taking a handful of kibble and throwing it in your house, throwing it in your yard, and letting your dog eat that way.
Yeah. You know what I used to do with Meg? So if you have a dog that can be trusted off leash, with Meg, I taught her how to find it. And Meg had zero anxiety, but she was high energy. And I mean, I'm high energy. So we just did a lot of things to keep active. I mean, my dogs get walked every morning and every night, no matter what. So with Meg, I taught her how to find it, and we would go outside. Well, we probably started inside, but I would hide treats, and then she would learn to find it, and then we would play hide and seek. And the cool thing was, so I originally learned about hide and seek from a trainer.
Yeah,
and
that's on the list.
It's a great tool to use. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun.
It's on the list of things to talk about.
So good. So I'm perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was cool was when I first got Meg, at the time I was dating a guy that had a daughter, and the trainer that I was with said that it's a great thing to teach your dog to find your kid if you lose your kid.
Yeah.
So I taught Meg how to find Jess. And Jess, who was like a toddler at the time, thought it was the coolest thing.
So fun.
Fun.
I'm 30 And I play this game, and I think it's so fun.
And you hide behind a tree? Or whatever?
I just do it. I have not been able to do it outside of the house. But what I'll do is I will go upstairs. If Kendrick is downstairs or Sweet Pea, I will go upstairs and I will hide, and then I'll call them, and then they look for me.
Uh-huh.
And it is so wild to me how long they will try to find me.
Really?
And then it's very interesting to see if you have a sight dog or a nose-driven dog.
Oh.
Because some dogs will just try to find you with their eyes and be looking around, and some dogs will lead with their nose and try to sniff you out. But it's fun. It's really fun.
Cameras in your house? That would be so cool to.
I have taken, when I do it downstairs, I have set up a phone or my phone, and like played the game.
Yeah.
And then it's just like they're like and then like looking behind furniture.
Oh,
and then looking behind doors and looking behind the countertop, and then how excited they get when they find you.
Yeah.
Like that's the best part.
They get so excited.
They're so proud
excited.
of yourself.
And so proud.
Yeah. And it's a fun game, and just doing that for like 10, 15 minutes is going to drain their energy more, because they have to think. They have to use their eyes. They have to use their nose. They have to like find you, is going to drain them more than going for a walk.
Yeah.
A 30-minute, an hour-long walk.
I'm currently such a horrible pet parent, I feel like. So back to my 2 dogs that I currently have, 2 healers. I don't do enough, to be honest. They get their walks every morning and
they get bones.
Every night. They get bones a couple times a week.
Mats.
They get licky mats. They get collagen sticks. They get bully sticks. They get a lot of they get more physical activity than they do mental. I feel like sometimes, because I've brought games home to try with DeSoto.
Mm-hmm. So like there are puzzles that you can do.
Yeah.
The goal is to find the treat in a puzzle.
Yeah.
And they make them different.
Like little drawers.
Yeah.
Different levels, just like with kids.
Yeah.
Different levels of games, different.
So when we're talking about puzzles, though, that's more of like you have to work with them.
Right. You don't just put the game on the floor and walk away.
Right. But there are some things that we'll talk about later, like a licky mat that you can just put on the floor and walk away.
So I felt like, I'm totally getting ahead of myself. I felt like DeSoto, it increased his anxiety with working a game. Like it almost like frustrated and pissed him off.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Do you think I should? So
I mean, I feel like,
you think I should
were
try again?
you frustrated and pissed off that he wasn't figuring it out quick enough?
No, he was. I'll try again.
Okay.
But I swear, I don't think I was transferring.
Yeah. Really, figure it out sooner. You're smarter than this, DeSoto.
He
should be top of your class.
I'm not that kind of mother.
You're never going to get into Harvard. Sorry.
Totally not that kind of mother. Think college is completely overrated. But he drooled a lot. He was frustrated. He was like pawing, pushing.
So that brings me to another part that I wrote in this episode is, Toni, can you talk about intelligence levels of dogs and meeting your dogs where they are? And maybe DeSoto was not meant for that puzzle. And not setting them up for failure. That was literally under your paragraph. And the importance of increasing difficulty, and that not all dogs are meant for every puzzle. Those were literally word for word what I put under your name, because I figured So
just saying, huh?
We should have done this episode sooner. DeSoto went for that. I'm sorry.
I hope the camera can see what he's doing right now. Okay. All right. So let's just stick with licky mats. Is that your point?
Did you try level 1? Or did you
It
think
was
that
the
he was a
tornado.
healer and he should get like a level 3?
Okay, let's be honest. It was probably one that a customer returned that I was probably like, all right, fuck it. I'll just take this home and try it.
Right.
It was I think they call it the tornado. It's the bone-shaped one that twists.
That sounds hard.
Oh, fuck. All right. I'll try the saucer.
Yeah. Try level 1.
All right. The brand we're talking about is Outward Hound currently. So now I'm all stressed out.
That's okay. DeSoto's really good at chewing.
Yeah.
And really good at licking mats.
And really good at looking innocent.
Yes.
And he's really not.
Yes. And he's really good at giving you attention.
Yes.
But to that point, even if you have if you have a really smart dog, like a heeler or a poodle, or what are other smart breeds? Corgis are really smart. Dachshunds are really smart. Australian Shepherds are very smart. Sheepdogs, I feel like, are really smart.
God,
German
you don't
Shepherds
see
are really
sheepdogs anymore.
Are really smart. Anyways, if you have one of those really smart dogs, you don't have to just jump to a level 3 or a really hard puzzle. I mean, the whole point of puzzles is bonding with your dog and helping them work through puzzles and growing with the experience level and challenging them appropriately. But doing puzzles is time consuming.
So if I start with a 1 and my dog figures it out,
Yeah.
I can just donate the puzzle to a shelter, right?
Yeah.
And then I go to level 2.
Right. Or you hold on to level 1 and throw it in the mix and see if your dog remembered how to figure it out.
Oh. Or I can take a dish towel.
So, yes. Okay. So let's talk about household items that you can use as puzzles and mental stimulation. And this is a theme that's very much trending on social media as well. So go ahead with your dish towel.
So the dish towel, I am going to fold or knot up into like different shapes and tuck treats or pieces of kibble, pieces of Ziwi Peak, air dried would be better than using kibble, carnivore, and tuck them so that the dog has to figure out where those pieces are in this knotted up towel.
So if you have a dog that might not be super food motivated, using treats or something really...
Or Ziwi Peak.
Yeah, or Ziwi Peak, something that's really highly palatable and motivating.
Odor.
Yeah, and a strong odor.
So we tie it up into different shapes in a dish towel, and then, okay, so great. The dog knows that's coming. So then we can put the dish towel in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And
if your dog masters unraveling the dish towel and getting all of the treats out, and after you've tied it in different knots, swirled around, whatever. So now we put it in a box,
and then the dog figures out, and you just close the flaps. You just fold them in.
Right.
They're not intertwined or anything. So then the dog figures out how to open the box, and then we flap the box together where you alternate the flaps. So he really has to work on getting that box open,
right?
Or she. So we can put a box in a box.
And then we can hide the box.
Yeah.
And we can even use egg cartons.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
We can use egg cartons and we can put kibble or treats, or we can even probably use a little bit of raw food or vegetables or whatever, and egg cartons and keep it open. And then it's going to slow them down eating it by they have to get each individual piece out of the egg carton, and then we close the egg carton, and then we can put something on top of the food, like a golf ball or a towel or a paper towel. So they have to pull that out and then get it, and then close the egg carton.
We could put the egg carton. You could wrap a towel around the egg carton.
Yeah.
There's so many things you could do.
There's so many things you can do.
Muffin tins,
and you put tennis balls on top of you put the treat in the bottom of the muffin tin, and then you put the tennis ball on top of the muffin tin. All of these things, and the more you challenge your dog, the higher their confidence is going to be and the stronger their threshold is going to be to handling loud noises, new textures, new sounds, materials, anything.
So in other words, we're trying to set our pets up for success.
Right.
So, and it's no different than what we do with kids. We try to expose them to as many things, people, experiences as possible.
Sounds as possible. Help them recognize those sounds, those textures, those household items.
The more educated they are, the more their confidence is boosted.
Right.
And then there are literally 18 million toys, puzzles,
Kongs,
interactive feeders. Westpaw makes several. Tux, Topple.
Licky Mat does a lot of
Licky Mats.
Yeah.
We sell tons of Licky Mats. We love the company Licky Mat. Chewing is also a great thing for anxiety. That's usually what is my go-to. That's so I give my dogs a lot of raw bones.
And you can reuse marrow bones. Once they remove the marrow out of it, you can stuff it and refreeze it.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do. So I like to play. So I have 2 dogs, and I play a game. I do a similar thing, the Find It, in my house, and it is challenging for both dogs in different ways. Sweet Pea is a very high food motivated dog, and we're working on impulse control in this activity. And Kendrick he needs to burn more energy. He's an energetic dog, like we mentioned before. So he needs to use his brain and be mentally stimulated, and he needs to boost his confidence. So what we do is I put both dogs in a place, and I put them in a place wait. And then I go and I hide a treat somewhere in the house, in the living room mostly. And it can be under a pillow, under a blanket, on top of a remote, under a piece of furniture, on a shelf, something. And I go and I hide it. And then I pretend I didn't hide it there. And I pretend I hide it in 5 other different spots. And then then I give the release command to Kendrick, and I say, go find it. So Kendrick has to go find that treat that I hid. And Sweet Pea, her initial response is she needs to go find it, but I make her stay in a wait.
Oh.
So she gets rewarded if she waits and she remains focused on me.
Oh.
So we're working on impulse control for Sweet Pea, and then we're boosting Kendrick's confidence. So Sweet Pea is so wanting to go find that treat because she can bulldoze through anything and just find it. But she has to wait and sit patiently and maintain eye contact with me. So she'll get fed treats while she's in a nice wait position, and Kendrick is going to go look for the treat.
I am so impressed. Did you think of that all your... Oh my...
Well, it started because Sweet Pea would bulldoze Ken. And then I was like, Sweet Pea, you can't do that. That defeats the purpose.
You're such a good mom.
And then I was like,
so impressed.
You got to sit and wait. And I was like, actually, this is really good for her.
I should do that with my dog.
Yeah, it's really fun too, because the attention span is fun to watch. How long Kendrick can stay focused on a task to look for a treat, and how long his memory is intact, that his goal is to look for the treat, even though he hasn't found the treat yet.
Yeah.
And how long he can look for it. So making it more and more challenging. And then even adding obstacles. So sometimes I'll build a pillow wall that he has to jump over to go look for the treat.
A pillow wall.
Yeah. And they're both working on wait, stay. It's fun. I have a lot of fun doing it.
I'm so impressed.
Yeah. It's really cool.
One other company we didn't talk about, I do have to give a shout out to, is Soda Pup, because they are a family-owned, pretty much husband and wife company with a lot of new interactives. They've been around a long time, all USA made. We really love them as well. And I'm totally feeling like a failure to my dogs right now.
Sorry. I mean, I don't do this every day.
Okay. How often?
Well, whenever we're bored, or Kenny gets really whiny and needy, and I'm like, he needs something, and we gotta all do something together. Yeah, so sometimes we go on long walks, and I throw that, or sometimes we do hide and go seek when,
Yeah,
it's here and there when it's necessary.
You've inspired me.
Thanks. Cool.
I'm gonna do
Anyways,
more.
Soda Pup.
we have some new slow feeders coming from them.
So slow feeders
Different.
can be enrichment, though.
Yeah. Okay. So
I
if I'm
think
a
so.
raw feeder,
Yeah.
do I have options?
Tons.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both raw feeders, and we've just talked about a ton of options.
Yeah.
Marrow bones, slow feeders. Westpaw has a really cool topple that you can stuff with raw food and freeze, and it's going to take a long time for your dog to...
I like the new, it's the bone shaped, more like a tray thing with the little divots, like egg carton divots in it. I think that would be a good raw feeding because even when I add my bone broth or my goat's milk,
Right.
like that could really.
And you can put different ingredients in different pockets.
Oh, yeah.
So like, yeah, for your
Yeah.
slow feeders. Not all slow feeders are made the same either. Like I feel like when we think of slow feeder, we think of those like those bowls that are like spinning and you see the dogs like go in spirals to get it. Also, if you are listening to this and you don't have the time to go out and buy a slow feeder right now, but you acknowledge that your dog needs this, you can put things like ice cubes in your dog's kibble and they'll work around the ice cube to try to get the kibble. You can put a baseball, you can put a softball and they have to work through that.
You can use a muffin pan.
You can use a muffin pan like we talked about.
A cookie sheet.
Cookie sheet, your kitchen floor.
Yeah.
So many different things.
Yeah. So all dogs, whether classified as a working breed or not, are wired to hunt for food. Cats too. So it's okay to do that. And if you have a picky eater, don't feed into it. No.
Do not hand feed.
Do not hand feed. Do not pick up the bowl and sprinkle it with Parmesan cheese because you're worried that your dog's not eating.
I will say Kendrick Lamar, my little dog, who is insecure, used to be a very picky eater.
And
we boosted his confidence and he will eat anything. And now it is crazy. Within 1 year of doing work on confidence boosting, he will devour anything I put in front of him. And I also use a flatter bowl or a plate and not an actual bowl that he has to put his head in. Because if you have an insecure dog and you have a deep bowl, it's less likely that they're going to put their head in that bowl to eat something.
Yep. And that reminds me, I don't know where I saw it. I dreamt it. I don't know. But there's a new bowl that's a plate. It's called Plated. Did I dream this? I don't know.
I can honestly say I have not seen. Seen this bowl called Plated.
So cats. Let's talk about cats real quick. So a bowl for a dog and a cat is not a natural
fair
place something to eat out of. So there are new studies being done that these picky eaters, especially cats, do not like to eat out of bowls because their whiskers, it's literally has a technical name called whisker fatigue.
Right.
That because their whiskers are touching the sides of the bowl, they have whiskers to warn them of danger. So that to them signifies danger. So that makes them not want to eat. So think about the bowl
versus the plate.
Think about the reflection.
Right.
Think about the material. We're off topic, but I just had to put that in there.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Yeah. I mean, sometimes with my cat, I'll like dump. I won't even use a bowl or a plate. We have like a rubber mat thing, and sometimes I'll just put the food on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depending on what it is.
Yeah. And I'm going to try that new bone-shaped like tray-like thing that we have for...
Yeah.
My dogs eat so freaking fast. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
and also slow eating and activities like this help slow down digestion.
Yeah.
And increase the salivary glands, which help aid in bad breath, digestion. I mean, everything. I mean, digestion starts in the mouth.
DeSoto does not need improvement in the salivary gland area.
Really?
I have to put a towel under where he is when I'm prepping. Because he just
Sweepy does that too.
drools.
Yeah. Drools. Yeah.
Yeah. So. All right. Did we miss anything?
I think we nailed it.
Okay. All right.
Sweet.
As usual, any questions, don't be afraid to reach out. info@tonyunleashed.com.
If you have listened to this and tried anything that we talked about, take a video, picture, send it to us. We'd love to post it and share it with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And spread the word.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
See ya.
If you're hearing this message, you've listened to our entire episode, and for that, we thank you.
If you have any questions or would like to follow our other projects, join our Toni Unleashed and Healthy Pet Product social media pages like Facebook and Instagram.
Please leave us a review and share episodes with your friends so we can further expand our message to listeners just like you.
Don't hesitate to tell us which topics you would like us to cover in future episodes. To get in touch, you can reach us by emailing info@tonyunleashed.com or by sending us a message on social media.
So reminder that we drop episodes weekly every Tuesday, and thanks for your support.